Next we'll see about what is evaporation. Fine. So evaporation is change of water to water vapor. Okay, change of water to water vapor. What is water vapor? Water vapor is when sunlight hits the water. And sunlight hits the water. Okay, the water gets heated. The water gets heated. Right, water gets heated. So when this water gets heated, it releases hot air. It releases an hot air like formation. So this is known as water vapor. Okay, which is a gas. Water vapor, which is a gas. Okay, this gas mixes to the earth. This gas mixes to the mixes with mixes with air, not earth. Okay, mixes with air. Fine. So what is water vapor? When sunlight hit the water, water gets heated, and this water gets heated, it releases an hot air, hot gas. Okay, so this hot gas, which is known as water vapor, So this water vapor mixes with the air. So this is called as evaporation. This is known as evaporation. Fine. So where do we see evaporation? Where do you see evaporation? When there is a water molecules dropped in front of a sunlight. Okay, when there is a water molecules dropped in front of a sunlight. Okay, I mean large water molecules. Okay, if you drop a water, full of water over here. Okay, full of water over here. So you have dropped a water in front of sunlight. So what does it do? It removes all the water, right? It removes all the water. Then where does the water goes? Water becomes a vapor. Water becomes a water vapor. Fine. So all the water will be removed from the floor because of sunlight hits the water and gets heated, and so it removes all the water and it becomes a water vapor which is mixes with the air. Okay. So you can just do it by yourself by dropping a water in a floor and in front of a sunlight. So leave it for some time, and if you see after some time the water will be get removed, and where does it gone? It gone as a water vapor which mixes into the air. Fine. So this is how evaporation is being processed. Next, let's see some example. In our daily life, we usually wash our clothes, right? We usually wash our clothes and we dry the wet cloth in the front of a sunlight. Why we dry in front of a sunlight? Because when you dry in front of a sunlight, it will get dry very faster. It gets dry faster, right? During winter time, you can't even dry your clothes. It's the very toughest job, right? But in a sunny, hot summer time, it's very easy to dry the clothes because there could be a sun over here and it get the cloth, wetter cloth heated and moves the water vapor outside. Okay, so this is how wet clothes are get dried. Okay, wet clothes get dried. Fine. So the next example is, what does the next example mean? Which is like sweat drying from a sun. Always we get sweat. Yes, we get sweat. So what does it do? How do we evaporate this sweat? Almost everywhere we have a sweat when we go outside. So now it's a very sunny day, right? So almost very hot summer days has been going on. So in the summer days, how do you feel now? It's very hot, right? Almost your body full of water, full of sweat, right? So how does it move out? Because of evaporation. Because of evaporation, the sweats all cools down. Okay, the sweats all cools down. Okay, so this is another example. Fine. So what are the process that needs to make this evaporation faster? Let's see. What are the process that needs to make evaporation faster? So I'll write it down here. Add up all this, guys. So write it with me or pause the video and write the notes. Fine. So I'm going very fast. So pause the video and write down all the ink that I have given you or the written part that I have written in the board. Fine. Okay. Let's move on with the what are the process of evaporation is faster. On which condition that it make faster. So evaporation become faster with some condition. What are the condition? Let's see. Okay. What I told you is evaporation becomes faster. Becomes faster when this steps are being done. When this process are being done. The first one is weather should be windy. Weather should be windy. That means weather should have hot sun. Okay, weather should be there be an hot sunny day. Hot sunny day. Okay. So when this is there, when weather is windy, evaporation becomes faster. Okay, evaporation becomes faster. Then second, temperature should be high. Temperature should be high. Okay, what temperature? Whether the sun temperature should be high to remove all the water and changes it into a water vapor. Fine. Next, the air should be dry. Air should be dry. Then fourth one, last one is surface of liquid should be large. Okay, surface of liquid should be large. Surface of liquid should be large. That means water liquid particles should be large, not small. Okay, so when it is very small, it takes two slow process of evaporation. When it is faster, it gets water gets removed easily. Fine. So that's what evaporation should be faster. Fine. So these are the evaporation process which makes the evaporation process faster. These are the four things that makes the evaporation process faster. Okay. Weather should be windy, temperature should be high, air should be dry, surface of liquid should be large. Fine. So till now we have seen what is evaporation, what are the things that needed to make the evaporation faster, and an example. Now let's move on with the topic condensation. So condensation is change of water vapor to a liquid. Water vapor changes to liquid. Okay. What does it mean? Water vapor changes to liquid. What does this mean? When the water vapor, that means it is invisible, we can't see. Okay. When this water vapor, invisible gas, moves to a higher altitude, moves to an higher height, it becomes cooler. This becomes cooler. Okay. When it moves to an higher height, it becomes cooler. Okay. When this water vapor moves to an higher height, it becomes cooler. Okay. When it becomes cooler, it turns back into a liquid water. it turns back into a liquid water. It becomes a tiny droplets. Okay, it becomes a tiny droplets, as you can see in the image. So this is a water vapor. When it moves up, it cools down. It cools down and cools down and becomes as a tiny water drops. Becomes a tiny water drops. This is a tiny water drops. Tiny drops. Okay. It becomes a tiny water drops. So this tiny water drops is a liquid. So this is how water vapor is formed, is being turned back into a liquid, which is a tiny water drop. Fine. So this is known as condensation. This is known as condensation. Okay. So if you see in them, for example, if you see in a bathroom, if you are bathing in a steam water, okay, if you are bathing in a steam water, if you are bathing in a steam water, you have a mirror in a bathroom, right? You have a mirror in a bathroom, which is a cool mirror, which is a cool mirror, okay. So you are steaming in a, or you are bathing in a hot steam, and there is a cool mirror. If this hot steam hits the cool mirror, it turns into a liquid. It turns into a liquid. If you have a mirror in a bathroom, you can check it out. Okay, fine. So this is a mirror. It is a cooler one. When hot air, hot steam is being hit by the mirror, it becomes an water. Okay, it becomes an water. Fine. This is one example of condensation, which means vapor become an water. Fine. So this is known as condensation. We have seen what is evaporation, example of evaporation and condensation. Okay. We will see examples of condensation in the next section.